$7 billion on transmission, a very large sum in a state known for tight purse strings. Environmental advocates plan to build political power and clean energy through implementing the initial law seemed to be working. But the good times didn't last. When the advocates pivoted to promoting solar energy, the fossil fuel industry mobilized to undermine their plans. Very little solar had been built in the Lone Star State. With no policy framework for solar energy, the industry struggled to gain traction. In 2005, a modest solar energy target passed in the same law that invested in wind energy and transmission lines. The advocates were ecstatic at their victory. As it had done for wind, Texas was poised to lead the country in solar energy. But this policy was never implemented. The fossil fuel industry ensured this outcome by increasing the ambiguity in the bill's language. Advocates believed the bill promised a new solar requirement, while opponents argued during implementation that it was a non-binding plan. In Texas, fossil fuel companies successfully stymied solar energy for another decade. Hence, the story of Texas's landmark clean energy laws is more complicated than many believe. Some estimate that Texas has the greatest potential for solar in the country. Yet by 2018, it had only installed as much solar as Massachusetts, a much smaller and more northern state. By then, California had installed 10 times as much as Texas. Nor did Texas continue to expand its wind energy policy after 2005. Despite its early efforts, Texas has fallen behind on clean energy. In the electric power sector, carbon emissions only declined 5% from 1999 to 2016. In fact, Texas is a below-average state in clean energy production. The state is not doing enough to clean up its electricity sector and contribute to solving the climate crisis. This pattern is not unique to Texas. Progress on clean energy across the United States has been much slower than it needs to be. If we focus only on the current costs of clean energy, we miss a broader pattern. After more than 3 decades of climate denial, utilities have switched to promoting delay. And this delay matters not just for the climate stability, but also for utilities and other fossil fuel companies' balance sheets. These companies win by stalling, by keeping their coal plants open, or by digging up more fossil fuels. Delaying policy action provides these companies with money. We can see climate delay across the states. Between 2008 and 2018, natural gas grew by almost 14 percentage points pp, an annual growth rate of 1.2 points. By contrast, renewables had an annual growth of around half that rate, at 0.74 points annually. They only increased by around 7 pp over the same decade. Since 2011, opponents have blocked clean energy laws from being passed in new places, leaving many states without any target. Others have begun to roll back or weaken clean energy policies. When these strategies failed, electric utilities and other polluting companies made the fight bigger, using the public, the parties, and the courts to short-circuit progress on climate policy. How can we understand this loss of momentum for clean energy laws that were designed to ratchet up in ambition over time? To understand climate policy, we must put politics at the center of our theories. On the one hand, policies do remake politics through a pattern political scientists call policy feedback. Policies can reshape politics by changing interest groups and individuals' resources, identities, and preferences. Usually, policy feedback research shows how policies reinforce themselves over time, creating constituencies that drive positive feedback and policy expansion. This pattern is referred to as path dependence or lock-in. Once a policy course is set, it is difficult to reverse. In the case of clean energy laws, we would have expected this kind of self-reinforcing cycle to lock in the energy transition, with policies growing in ambition over time. Yet, it's not clear that path dependence holds for many public policies. Instead, we often see policy reversals. As Eric Potashnik and Julian Zelitzer put it, the capacity of public policies to remake politics